bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Hello everyone, I'm Maggie Skira. Welcome back to Comcast Newsmakers. We are at the Tech Museum of Innovation in downtown San Jose, and we're glad to have you with us. This morning we have some fascinating guests. We're going to get right to them. We have Doctors Vikki and Rick Petersen. They are chiropractors in the Sunnyvale area and also certified nutritionists. And I wanted to get that out so that we could get right to your extremely interesting topic. A lot of people have been talking about nutrition as it relates to health, and gluten has been getting so much press and so much interest. You have written a book. Tell us about it.
Yes, we've written a book called The Gluten Effect, and it just came out a few months ago. Basically, it's written for the layperson so that they can understand how gluten can affect their health. It's very wide-ranging, anything from irritable bowel syndrome, any sort of digestive complaints, headaches, migraines, autoimmune disease like arthritis, lupus, ADD symptoms, fatigue, hormonal imbalance. It's amazing the vast array of symptoms associated with gluten sensitivity. So our book makes the distinction between gluten sensitivity and celiac disease. Celiac affects 1% of the population. It's estimated that gluten sensitivity affects 40% of the population.
Now, how do you differentiate? Celiac disease, it's a serious medical issue, and you're talking about gluten sensitivity affecting a far wider proportion of the population. How do you tell one from the other?
Well, basically, what happens is when gluten enters into the body, if you've got the genetic imbalance that creates gluten sensitivity, what happens is the body's immune system begins attacking gluten as soon as it enters the body. If that attack primarily is of the small intestine and it creates some destruction in the small intestine, that's something that's called celiac disease. But gluten can also affect other areas so that the body can begin attacking things such as the nervous system or the thyroid gland. Some people with thyroid problems, the source of it is related to gluten sensitivity. So celiac disease is definitely a very serious condition, but what we're trying to do is, in addition to that, broaden out the perspective that gluten can affect a lot of other things too.
It sounds vague, and people have symptoms, oh my this hurts and oh my tummy hurts.
Yes.
How can you start to suspect that your ills are related to gluten?
That is the biggest problem. People ask, if I had a gluten sensitivity, how would I know? And you almost want to say, is there anything wrong with you? Which sounds a bit trite, but it's not, because it has such far-reaching effects. And that's all discussed in the book. But basically, reading the book, seeing all the areas that it affects, and doing a trial of getting off gluten. There was a Journal of the American Medical Association article about almost a year ago now that stated a very valid diagnosis of gluten sensitivity is removing it from the diet and noticing an improvement.
Well, I guess that makes some sense.
Yes.
For those who have no idea what gluten is,
I was-
maybe we should
Yes.
probably go back to square one and
Yes.
explain how it gets in our food and what does it do.
Okay, good, yeah. Gluten is the protein that's contained in wheat, barley, and rye, predominantly, those grains. So it's in the grain, it's ingrained in the grain. It's part of the protein structure of the grain itself. And that's the body recognizes that protein structure, and that's what initiates the attack against it. So it's found directly in wheat. So it's in breads and pastas and crackers and cookies and many of the things that are a big part of people's diet.
We eat constantly. So you offer alternatives to eating these things that
Yes.
won't make you crazy and craving things.
Exactly. Fortunately, gluten-free products are the largest growing aspect of the food industry right now. So 15 years ago when I diagnosed people, we were sort of creating our own flours and giving recipes. But now you can go into various markets and there they are, all prepared for you. You can go to local pizzerias and they offer the gluten-free crust and they'll put all the normal toppings on it.
Wonderful.
So the world has broadened and is embracing gluten sensitivity.
All right, once again, the name of the book?
The Gluten Effect.
The Gluten Effect. Doctors Rick and Vikki Petersen locally here for you. And I want to thank you very much, and thanks for helping to educate us on this. That's all we have time for now on Comcast Newsmakers. We'll be back with more a little bit later.